Welcome to 2 Minutes to Pitch, broadcast live from the Business Innovation Center in historic Fall River. Join us for stories and insights from the past, present, and future, arts, culture, and innovation. We will be featuring segments and interviews around local business activities in the greater Fall River area, here at the Business Innovation Center, as well as topical 2-minute pitches from folks like you. Everyone has a story. We want to hear it. 2 Minutes to Pitch starts right now. Welcome to 2 Minutes to Pitch. I'm Chris Nielsen, and I'm here today with a great special guest, Erica Scott-Pacheco, and she's with the Bristol County Commission on the Status of Women, a very important organization, I believe sanctioned from the state. You're going to tell us all about it, I hope.
Yes.
Welcome, Erica. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity, and I'm happy to be here at the Business Innovation Center.
Innovation, yeah.
Business Innovation Center.
It is a bit of a tongue twister if you try to say it fast. So tell me about the Bristol County Commission on the Status of Women. Mm-hmm. What is it that you guys do? It's for the advancement of opportunities for women in business and all equality everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? So.
Definitely. So this is a volunteer position that's very important to me. I joined the commission about a year ago, and the way that the structure is, throughout the whole state, there are regional commissions. We have one in Bristol County. And really the goal is to bring together leaders in the community representing different sectors, the private sector, nonprofit sector, public sector, and try to figure out ways that we can make policy recommendations to the legislature on how to advance opportunities for women. One really critical issue we're looking at here in Bristol County is economic inequality, because there's a lot of research that women in our county, especially women here in Fall River, are economically disadvantaged. So working on educational opportunities, employment opportunities, entrepreneurship to advance women and girls.
So what kinds of programs do you actually get involved with? You know, there's programs for help, like you said, education or employment. What are some of the specific programs that you would initiate or support in this community?
So we've been doing a lot of research. We've collaborated with the Women's Fund of Southeastern Massachusetts, BCC, UMass Dartmouth, different entities. And one thing that we found is that there wasn't a lot of data to describe the inequities. And so we did the research with those partners and found, for instance, single moms in Fall River, 45% of single moms live below the poverty line, which is really shocking to me. That's a pretty severe statistic, because that means children are growing up in poverty, and we know that there are these intergenerational cycles of poverty that we see that we have to try to break. So focusing on women's advancement in terms of salary negotiation, that's an event that came out of that research. So we're having salary negotiation workshops here in Bristol County. They also did some in Boston to teach women the skills to get rid of that pay gap, because we see that on the dollar, women are paid less than men for the same exact work. And over the years, that really perpetuates inequality. Then you save less for retirement, you're not paying as much into Social Security, you have less for your family. And it also means that as you go throughout your career, you're always trying to play catch up, even though you're doing the same work. And we also see this inequality among women of color, of different racial and ethnic backgrounds. So we're really excited. We're going to be bringing a salary negotiation workshop to BCC here in Fall River in the fall. And there's also been some, like I mentioned, in Boston, and they were big successes, and many women got really concrete tools, because that's something you never learn in school. No one has ever taught me how to negotiate my salary, and we know that when people are asking for a raise, it may be very uncomfortable. They may feel not confident.
You don't get anything without asking.
Exactly. You have to make the ask, and so going to be interactive workshops on how exactly to do that.
Well, that's excellent. And one of the things I noticed from where we're located with the Business Innovation Center, we're in the lowest economic demographic in our surrounding area, with the exception of some of the downtown business community or the workforce, which a lot of them actually work out or live outside of the city. So these are some of the things. I understand you're running for mayor and doing some things with leadership as it relates to our government, and those are the kinds of things I assume you'll be working on. And,
absolutely.
And one of the things, questions that I would have is, how could we offer more programs here? We've tried to do that for women, because we recognize that same statistic. The challenge is that to run a program, it costs money to run a program, and the population that we want to serve isn't able to afford it.
Right.
So it's a chicken and an egg type of scenario. There's a lot of things that we want to do to help that community, but it's very difficult. So that's one of the things we're trying to work on here as well. Now the commission, that started in 2009, is that correct?
The statewide commission. So the structure, there's a statewide commission and then there's regional commissions.
Okay.
So that started through an appointment by the governor. There are in a few other states, there are commissions on the status of women. And so women in Massachusetts really realized that we needed to have a voice, a nonpartisan voice, to advocate for women's interests, the interests of women and girls across our state, and make policy recommendations to the legislature. Because that data is really what drives a lot of policy decisions. And so if you don't have data on women and girls, both statewide and regionally, it's very hard for legislatures to know fact from fiction and be able to make policy to benefit all of us.
Yeah, because they need to allocate funds. That's
exactly.
Really and it's the squeaky hinge, the loudest voice that gets heard.
Right.
So you have, it's a 7-member commission, is that correct? And I looked a little bit online, and it went. So it was founded in 2009, and then I think the first commission here in Bristol County was at 2012.
I think that's about right. I've been on the commission since the beginning of 2017. 2017,
yeah. So then I saw, then there was a 2017 and a 2018.
Yes.
Was there was the commission the same from 2012 to 17, or was there a change in some of the personnel?
There's some turnover. So I first got involved in the commission thanks to Senator Mike Rodrigues, who's my state senator, who suggested I apply because they had some openings. And so thank you to him. He wrote a recommendation letter. And I think that state commissions, county commissions are a really great way for people to get involved. Previously, I had served on the statewide commission on the status of LGBTQ youth, which I served on in 2012 to 2014. That also similarly was making policy recommendations on how we can improve the lives of youth in our Commonwealth, youth being people under the age of 26. And so we have commissioners from Attleboro, Fall River, New Bedford, Dartmouth. We still have a couple spaces available, so if people are interested, it's kind of a rolling application. But we really want to have diverse women from through all of the county, because our county has both cities, right? We have several gateway cities, Fall River, Taunton, Attleboro, New Bedford, that all face a lot of similar challenges, higher unemployment rates, higher rates of poverty, immigrants, reduced economic opportunities. And then we also have some rural areas that have their own unique challenges. And so trying to really figure out how can we help women throughout the whole county is the mission.
Well, from what I understand, you work a lot with legislative initiatives. What are some of the top legislative initiatives that you're pushing for and striving to get moving forward at the moment?
Right now, a big legislative initiative that I know State Representative Alan Sylvia here in Fall River has been championing is expanding access to pre-K. So universal pre-K would let all kids who are 3 and 4, regardless of income, be able to attend pre-K services, whether it's through the city, through charters, through Head Start, through private opportunities. If it weren't through the city, then the city would be paying for a voucher for the kids to attend. I think it's really critical because we have a lot of research that shows if kids are not in pre-K, once they get to kindergarten, they're already behind. They don't know their colors, they don't know their letters, they don't know sometimes where they live, their address, their phone number. And so to really set up all of our kids for success, they're trying at the state level to advocate for universal pre-K. I think it's something that all of our kids would really benefit from, and I'm happy to see one of our state legislators taking some leadership in that, because it's absolutely something that we recommend and support for our kids at Fall River and throughout all of Bristol County. Now,
you work in the area of development.
Yes.
That's a kind of a layman term, finding money.
Fundraising. Right? It's fund development,
you
resource
find
development.
The money,
yes.
and that's important because, as we were just talking about, it takes resources to be able to implement these kinds of programs, whether it's at a BCC or a place like ours. Or if it's through, now this would be like through school spending. So the state would give money to the school system would give a voucher to help make that work. So either way, the money has to come from someplace and it has to be gathered first and allocated. And that happens through the legislation. So what are some typical fundraising types of initiatives that you engage in to help corral these resources?
So I work in fundraising, not through the Commission on the Status of Women, the Bristol County Commission. That's what I do, volunteering. My full-time job, I work for the local legal services nonprofit doing fundraising.
Oh, okay. Tell me a little bit more about that. What does this organization do? And it sounds fascinating.
Yeah, I really wear a lot of different hats. And so in addition to my volunteering on the commission, I also work full-time at South Coastal County's Legal Services. That is the local civil legal aid provider serving all of southeastern Mass, Cape Cod, and the islands. I work in the Fall River office, but we also have offices in New Bedford, Hyannis, and we have our subsidiary Justice Center of Southeast Mass in Brockton. And so we've all seen on TV, I'm sure you've seen, Chris, if somebody is low income and they're arrested for a criminal case, they get a court-appointed attorney, right, a public defender. That's not the case for civil matters. There's no court-appointed resource. So we and all of our partners in civil legal aid are the only resource for folks in that situation. So we serve low-income families, elders, 60 and over, and individuals with disabilities throughout all of our region on areas like housing, domestic violence, if you need a protective order, divorce, custody, if you're denied unemployment, Social Security unfairly. Wage theft is an issue that we see in this area where workers, often like in contracting or landscaping, are not being paid. And so
they need help collecting.
They need help getting the wages they're entitled to. Another issue we're seeing a lot of is scams targeting the elderly, whether people are getting phone calls or emails or letters in the mail about, fake inheritances or money
Hold on,
owed.
there's a phone call for you, Erica. It's your grandparents. They're in Venezuela,
right?
And they need
exactly. Or that somebody's been arrested in a foreign country and needs bail money, or the IRS is calling and saying you need to pay them in Amazon gift cards. And sadly, a lot of our seniors or people in general get preyed on, right? And they're just trying to do the right thing, and then they're preyed on by these scams.
Welcome. The Business Innovation Center in Fall River, also known as the BIC, is a co-working space, business incubator, creative makerspace, and so much more. When you come here, be ready to exercise your mind and explore opportunities outside of your comfort zone. Become part of our movement to build economic opportunity and to help you and your family prepare for the jobs of tomorrow. Technology is changing our world at an increasing pace. Many jobs will be disappearing or requiring new skills. Our ways of living and interacting will need to adapt and transition if we're going to make the most of our potential. So stop by the Business Innovation Center and see what we're doing and how it can help you. Come to Thirsty Joe's Cafe for a hungry mind, to meet with your friends, or to be our guest at one of our clubs or business networking groups. One of the things that I've learned in this process, we've been around here for about 4 years, and my wife got involved in a program, a Portuguese news program. And through this, we've been wanting to try and create this bridge. We're on Columbia Street, which is a cultural district, and soon
Yes.
to be this block, I think, is getting extended for the cultural corridor, which is a great thing. I think that'll open us up for some
funding,
money,
yeah.
some funding for various things that are going on here. But there's a little bit of a disconnect between the more traditional Portuguese community that are used to working in a variety of, in a more traditional way. They migrated here from the Azores or Portugal, and it's a different culture, a different mindset. And then you have the more modernized, non-traditional American community here, or I should say non-Portuguese speaking community.
Yeah.
So you have this divide with language, and you have these other cultural approaches. So, for example, in a nightlife type of scenario, to have a thriving entertainment district in downtown, it's a different. It's going to be approached differently from those two communities, because the traditional group is really tied in with social organizations. There's a lot of marching bands and related to the
Social
churches
clubs,
and so forth. A lot of clubs. And so, how would you see a way that the city could come together and bridge those two communities? It's kind of a challenge to really get each to notice each other and embrace each other. What would your thoughts or suggestions be? In people opening up their perspectives and holding out their arms to hug these two communities. Let's get a group hug going.
That's an interesting question. I've never heard that question. I never considered it. So kudos to you, because it shows you're innovating with your thinking, right? And thinking about how we're going to plan the community in a way that works for everyone. And so I think that there's room for both, right? One thing about many of these social clubs, and there's a lot on Alden Street, which is like the street that's behind where I live. I live on Pittman Street, and then Alden Street runs parallel to it. And most of them are for only men. So they're for members, right? They're members clubs, and then they're for men, which is fine because they're incorporated as such, right? But they're more of like a private club or a private marching band. And I know that those groups are really involved in their communities. We also need to have opportunities that are open to not only to non-Portuguese speaking people, but to women, to the community at large, maybe to people who, for whatever reason, don't want to affiliate with a membership or don't want to pay a fee, or just want to kind of check out different opportunities. So I think that there's room for both, and we need to outreach to both. I don't think it's either or. Well,
I think I agree, and I think I think people need to be more open and sensitive, and I think that sensitivity will transcend to the empathy that we need to have for, are guys really paying attention, okay, to the needs of women having, deserving to have that equal status in the one piece of what you're doing? Are we being sensitive to the communities that are lower income and economically challenged, in doing what we can, that responsibility to give back? Can you take time to volunteer? Can you get involved in things that are going to enrich the community? We have I've seen some of the interviews that you've had related to your campaign for mayor, which I think is an excellent initiative. I hope it inspires other women to get involved in politics.
Definitely. Yeah.
We really need to have women stand up and ask for those things that that they well deserve. And by getting involved, you get more experience, and then you're better qualified, and all these. It's a cycle. It's a cycle that's important to everybody. What advice would you have to other women in that regard, in getting involved? How would you encourage them to get involved and get inspired?
That's definitely something that I want to focus on. And there's a special election now. We also have the regular electoral cycle in the fall. So there's some folks that have reached out to me that say they want to run for school committee, or they're interested in city council. And I'm definitely trying to promote and support women running for office as much as I can in the fall. because I think it's important. I myself, win or lose, have to run for mayor again in the fall. Ideally, I win now and then I run for re-election, but even if I don't get the outcome I want, we still have to run again in the fall. So I have been really actively encouraging women to do so. We have a real problem with representation in our city. We have only one woman on city council, no women on school committee. We've never had a woman mayor. And I'm not asking for people to support me or any woman candidate just because I'm a woman or because we're women, but that is a reality that we have a large segment of the population who are not represented. And it's not just along gender lines. I live in the Flint neighborhood, and we have no one on the school committee or on the city council or in the mayor's office who represents my neighborhood. So there are a lot of communities who are left out. And I think all of our elected officials work hard, but the reality is if you don't have that lived experience, then it's hard to bring that perspective to the table, right? You bring your own perspective to the table.
Well, I think one of the important things for everybody, because we need more people to get, politics is kind of perceived as a bad place. Like, oh gosh, I'm going to go get beat up and I'm going to be ridiculed and they're going to look in my closet and find stuff maybe. The thing is, get qualified to do that. Educate yourself, get as smart as you can, learn how things work so that you can be able to contribute more. That's that giving back. But first, it's like on an airplane, they say put the mask on yourself first before you can help other people. And that's a lot of what we're about here at the Business Innovation Center, trying to help people get out of your comfort zone, do something new, grow, be better, and you have more to give to your community. And what happens? You have a better community.
Absolutely.
How can people find out more about the coalition? I believe I saw www.mass.gov/women. That takes you to the state website. Now, can they find your Facebook page from there, or what would they search for to get on?
You can search on Facebook, so Bristol County Commission on the Status of Women, and we share out a lot of content. Our chair, Michelle Keith of Dartmouth, is very great at social media, so shout out to her. And I just try to follow her lead. We share news about women, events that other organizations or opportunities that arise. If you guys have any events, we can share them as well. So that is a pretty active Facebook page, just trying to spread the word to people. So again, you can look Bristol County Commission on the Status of Women.
And you have a couple events. I'm going to cover some of those events coming up in the other segment of the show. I really appreciate you coming by today. Good luck in your campaign. I hope that goes well. And either way, you're getting better and you're giving back and you're making a difference. And I hope everybody out there will take the time and the effort and the energy to do that again. Erica Scott-Pacheco, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Chris.
And joining us.
I appreciate it. You too.
Hi, my name is Rick Wild, and I'm the Member Services Coordinator at Hope in Maine in Warren, Rhode Island. Hope in Maine is Rhode Island's premier food business incubator. We help with aspiring entrepreneurs who want to start food and beverage businesses. So if you've ever had the thought of owning your own food truck or taking a beloved family recipe and turning it into a food business, Hope in Maine is the place that you would come to receive all of the technical assistance, education, and the commercial kitchens that you would need to start and grow a legal food business in the state of Rhode Island and beyond. It can be a really expensive proposition to start your own food business. The equipment, the space, everything that you would need to be code compliant, it's all very expensive. Many restaurants and food production facilities will spend tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars on all of the infrastructure that they need to grow their business. At Hope in Maine, we provide all of that to entrepreneurs, but you rent it by the hour or, depending on the service, by the week or by the month. And what that allows you to do is to start a business with very little money up front. For just a couple $1,000s, you can start your own food business. So what we're trying to do is to lower the barrier of entry, to make it easier to start the business, and to mitigate a lot of the risk that's involved in starting a venture. So if you've ever wanted to start a food business of your own but you didn't know where to go, or if you ever wanted to start a business but you knew you didn't have the capital in place to be successful, you can come to Hope in Maine and start your business. Come see us. We're in Warren, Rhode Island.
This week we're going to explore a few websites and some of the activities going on here at the Business Innovation Center. First, we'll take a look at our website here at the Business Innovation Center, and we're going to be adding more stuff to this over time. There's a couple little pitches and some information. We have a members portal. If you go into the members portal, plans and pricing, that pulls up this unique space over here. And this is really just a list of the various memberships that we currently have. And there are several. This is going to change a little bit, but essentially we have an artistic membership for creative space in our labs. We have various memberships for folks that participate in as a business, depending on the level of use of the space. Then we also have a cafe. We have a lot of different things, so there's a lot of perks and benefits. Come check out the Business Innovation Center website. We'll be putting more up there about our programs. But one of the things, or several of the things to look for, we run a music program, so we're frequently auditioning musicians and talent. We want to hear from you and plug you in and help you evolve your music skills, career, and interests, and that sort of thing. We have a Toastmasters Club, which also will help you with your speaking, public speaking, and leadership. And in addition, we have a TAG networking group. The networking group meets on the first and third Wednesday in the mornings. And if you have a business and want to participate in that and share referrals and have other people refer business to you, that's a great place to be. One of the things I'm going to do is take you to a couple other websites. If you're starting a business, you might want to tune in with the Center for Entrepreneurship or Innovation in Entrepreneurship. We call it it's abbreviated as the CIE. It's part of the UMass Dartmouth campus, and they have a lot of incredible resources and programs that go on over there if you are starting a business or trying to nurture your existing business. So there's a lot of great resources over there. It's just umassd.edu/innovate, or you can just do a Google search for Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship or UMass Dartmouth CIE. A lot of great resources there and a great group of people to interact with if you're starting or nurturing your business. A lot of great resources. Another place that you can go is the Massachusetts Small Business Development Center Network. The Southeast Regional Office is here in Fall River. Ann Fenton and a whole group of folks are there to be good advisors and help you with various degrees of consulting and resources to help you. If you're getting into government contracting, they have a great gentleman there. I believe his name is Dan Libby, if he's still with the organization. There's some great talent there. They have a variety of workshops. They interact with the Small Business Administration. They've helped me in the past with some financial consulting, business advisors, and that sort of thing. Great group of folks over at the Massachusetts Small Business Development Center and Network here in the region. They're right over here in Fall River downtown. Another place that you can go and check out, we interviewed Donna from the E for All recently, and they have a great program that is geared towards helping entrepreneurs and the economic development in the South Coast region here. So there's a lot of interesting things, and there's some fantastic statistics. A lot of great information up here on how to get involved in various programs. So here's the Fall River chapter, and there's an events calendar, pitch your idea. So there's a pitch coming up in April. There's a couple different things with their accelerator program, and these are interesting things to learn about to help you nurture your ideas for a business and get support from the local community. It's a really fascinating organization. We really appreciate them being here as part of the South Coast, and it's a rapidly growing organization that's going to have a footprint nationally very soon. We interviewed recently Erica Scott-Pacheco. She is running for mayor, but we were really talking about her involvement with the Massachusetts Commission on the Status of Women and some of the other work that she does with legal services. And that was a really enlightening conversation. I wanted to share this website with you. If you just go to mass.gov/women, you'll get redirected to this page. And there's a lot of great information about the legislative initiatives that are going on to help promote equality for women in the workplace, help women negotiate stronger and better salaries, and just general fairness and equality for women. That's our community calendar for this week, and thank you. We want to thank you for watching today on 2 Minutes to Pitch. We want to thank our guests for participating and our sponsors, C&P Integrations, the Business Innovation Center, Thirsty Joe's Cafe for sponsoring the catering for the event, and especially you for taking the time to watch. If you are interested in giving a 2-minute pitch or being on our show, you can email us at pitch@2minutestopitch.com. Sometime in the near future, we'll actually have a website built up there, and we'll have more information about the programs and the different things that are going on. But in the meantime, you can go to businessinnovation.center, find out more about what we're doing here at the Business Innovation Center, and we're going to be mentioning some things and having some blog articles on different things that are going on as well. So from BIC Media Labs in the Business Innovation Center here in historic Fall River, I want to thank you for watching and joining us here on 2 Minutes to Pitch. We'll see you next time. I'm Chris Nielsen. Thank you.